Thank you for joining us on Innovating Business, and for those of you that are listening on the podcast, we appreciate you tuning in. Today we have a great guest with us. We have the Superintendent of Utica Community Schools, Dr. Christine Johns.
Good morning, Mr. Bonner.
Thank you for coming. You are the first female executive that we've had on the show, and you're the first non-business executive that we've had on the show.
Very
so
good.
There's a lot of milestones reached today. Having said that, as we've discussed in many instances, one of the biggest issues facing business today is talent. Talent development, talent pipeline, there's a talent shortage, and you're at the ground zero of this. And so the importance of having you on the show today has every relevance to business. I was doing some research this morning on the Workforce Intelligence Network that's collecting data on job openings, job postings. There are about 60,000 college grads out of Michigan colleges and universities. Only 6,000, or 10% of those, have engineering or IT related degrees. And just in the fourth quarter of 2017 alone, there were 10,000 job openings in Southeast Michigan for those jobs. There are currently in Southeast Michigan 129,000 open positions, and that includes salespeople, customer service, skilled trades, semi-skilled trades. Needless to say, you at the school has been doing some incredible things with industry partners. I wanted you to talk about the most exciting endeavor that you guys have coming up, which is truly, it's both inspirational from a community standpoint, but it's leading edge. Nobody else is doing this. And I'd like you to sort of introduce that to us a little bit and talk more about it.
I would be delighted to, and thank you, Mr. Bonner, for inviting me here today. When you talk about those jobs of tomorrow, the talent's right here in Michigan's second largest school district in the Utica Community Schools. We, K through 12, have a lot of efforts right now on actually focusing kindergarten through 12th grade on programming and computer science with a partnership with code.org, and we were the first school district in the state of Michigan to lead that effort, and we're watching that grow in the district, and we will continue to watch that grow to create that pipeline. But the program today that I'm excited to talk about is Stevenson MADE, and MADE standing for Manufacturing, Automation, Design, and Engineering. And beginning next fall, in September of 2018, we are going to open a new academy for 9th through 12th graders. We'll start with 9th graders, but the whole purpose of this academy is to focus on manufacturing, automation, design, and engineering. And why? You just quoted all those statistics where the jobs are of tomorrow, but the other reasons would be the jobs of tomorrow and what business say they need, but we sit right here in the heart of advanced manufacturing. I would argue this is a hotbed for automation and robotics, and where better to place this program than in the Utica Community Schools and at Stevenson High School. So next year we already have our first class recruited, our 90 students with young men and women, and we're getting ready to launch that. We will begin facility changes there, but from the curriculum side, our teachers are already training for design thinking. It will be problem-based learning. And then students will be able to have experiences in welding and mechanical design and CNC, but they will then, as they move into 10th grade, be able to declare a major and specialize, all doing this in partnership with businesses. They'll be able to have internships, they'll be able to do mentoring and some career shadowing. And the business partners, we have two partners right now, Altair, which is located here in Southeast Michigan in Troy. They actually focus more on the software side, and they are going to give our students are going to be able to use that industry software to be able to create and design, and then with another partner, they are going to be able to fabricate and create it. And then the business partners have also planned, they want these students to be able to also take their projects and share them with business, and they will help mentor them, guide them, but also give them constructive feedback in their thinking and have them ready for jobs. So our goal is to make sure these youngsters are getting the industry certifications that they desire, that they are able to get community college credits and or move on to a four-year college. And a number of the businesses have said, you know, we need these kids now. We want them now, and we want to partner with you. So I think that's a good start for us.
This has been a big shift, I feel, about the last 5 years, where companies are going to K through 12. And historically, you know, between workforce development, but community college, and 4 universities and colleges, that's typically where everybody recruits from. But as we've seen, there's a little bit of rigidity in those programs, whether you're going to Lawrence Tech or you're going to U of M or you're going to Kettering, that there is a little bit of rigidity in those, so that when you're actually hiring somebody, there's more work on the side of the employer that we have to do now to sort of reskill or upskill or train them in a different coding language or what have you. So they're sort of skipping that, and there is so much emphasis on the K through 12. Have they expressed, they've expressed a lot of that to you,
absolutely.
and now they're creating internships maybe that weren't necessarily there before, right?
Well, I think there's a couple pieces there. I think one is from the talent development perspective. The truth is, some of these advanced manufacturing careers and the skill sets that are needed, I think that it's important that public schools, K-12 partners, because I think sometimes there can be a disconnect, what you're describing, between the public schools, the universities, and business. If business and public schools are working together, if we can actually help students have experiences and understand that earlier, how many times have we heard kids say, I'm not sure what I want to do? Right. Well, if we can help them develop an interest and decide, have some experiences earlier, it's important that they decide what they want to do, or maybe what they don't want to do, because then they actually get in the right pathway for whatever the learning is, or the formal certifications they need, or education, and then they get those internships. So I think that it's a better partnership, because people then, the investment that is made by business and with public school dollars actually allows us to yield a larger return.
Right. How have you guys been with this program from a grant funding perspective? I mean, this seems like a very popular program to want to fund from a grant side of things.
We have been very fortunate because of the district's reputation as an innovator, because of the district's reputation that we have developed talent in our other programs that have been successful, and the fact that we do have great teachers and we have a great community and great students and great families. We have been able to secure state dollars through career and technology education grants from the governor. In addition, we have been able to approach a private funder who chooses at this time to remain anonymous, but we were awarded $1.1 million to do the curriculum development and the professional development for our teachers, and some equipment purchases to really get this program up and running. Additionally, we were able to leverage bond dollars from our own community to be able to bring that facility to a level that would be more like industry. So when students walk into these classrooms, it will not necessarily feel like school. It will feel like a business office. It will feel like what they do in advanced manufacturing. And when talking to our business partners at Forey Automation, for example, they came in, they looked at all of our equipment, they assessed it, and they said, you know, this we still use, this is outdated, but here's some recommendations of other newer equipment you may want to consider, because it will give your students the experiences we would want them to have if they came in and did an internship. It's what we're looking for if we were to hire them. We also would be interested in having conversations about internships, and in the future developing the possibility of hiring these youngsters. So what I'm super excited about for our young people is that some of our students will have opportunities possibly to have an internship. From that internship, move on where they may be hired by the company and then pursue their industry certifications or an associate's degree. Other students may go off to a four-year college and then come back and be hired by the companies. But I think this connection and these partnerships are so critically important to the future success of our children and our community.
So let's move on from the MADE facility at Stevenson. So what else are you doing amongst the other high schools within your district to maybe replicate a MADE, but maybe focused on something else?
We already have a strong career and technical education program at all of our comprehensive high schools, and we do allow our students to participate in shared time. so students can participate. But what we are looking at with all of the high schools, so Stevenson's going to have the MADE Academy, but we're looking at, in the other high schools, what would their academy be? So we're beginning the conversations to do the planning, just like we did with Stevenson, to look at other types of academies that would fit their community. So for example, at another high school at Utica High, they already have a strong health care medical program through career and technical education. We're looking at, can we find business partnerships or healthcare partners that we could further design that to integrate the kinds of technology skills that would be required, and design that and build that out even more extensively, and go to those private funders to assist us as well. We're not there yet, but our plan is to get there. The other thing that we are doing across the district in all 4 of the comprehensive high schools, remember there's about 1,800 kids in each of the high schools, we have a partnership with Wayne State and Macomb Community College on the cyber security and velocity right here in Sterling Heights and off of 18 Mile. And we are looking at launching the cybersecurity courses next fall for all of our students who have interest, and then building that out. And I think the part that has been most interesting to students is we hear about hacking, is that we teach students what, quote, bad hacking is, because if you understand that, then you can actually intervene to basically provide the security.
Going to try to do any bad hacking,
Absolutely
right?
not.
Yeah, they're very well mannered.
But I think what's really important for this generation of kids is that our students, these are areas they're already interested in. And if we can actually develop that more fully in our public schools, then again, and students see the career pathways, with this, our school district is going to continue to attract businesses to this area as well. And if the schools are doing well and businesses want to be here, economic development is going to grow. And I would make the argument, in order to have strong economic development, you have to have strong education. And that's where and then you got to have the talent, and those two things go hand in glove in my mind.
I completely agree. And as proactive as you are being, you're certainly setting an example. I mean, we've been talking about some other things that we're trying to do from a robotics standpoint, but I do firmly believe businesses will ultimately locate and flourish where there's talent there to support them.
And look, I couldn't agree with that more. And I just have to remind our public that the Thunder Chickens have been around for almost 20 years, or maybe 25 years. This group of youngsters, decade after decade, year after year, they have done well in the state competitions in FIRST robotics. In fact, the school district led the way in that. This year, those youngsters did extraordinarily well in states, and they will be participating in the Detroit International World competition.
Detroit is hosting the World competition this year.
And Utica Utica Community Schools is there, and we have another group called Crevolution. We host every year for the past 15 years the regional competitions for the elementary Lego robotics. So we, again, what you and I have said all along, this is a hotbed for innovation and robotics. And we have 25 elementary schools. We have a strong partnership with Girls Who Code. And there's after-school clubs where young ladies they have access to free curriculum. A number of community partners have stepped up and have given $1,000 grants to these after-school programs. And we have young ladies interested in coding and learning to code after school. And I mean, we're growing this, and we're going to continue to grow this. But I think that you're going to watch in a couple of years, you're going to watch our computer science courses go through the roof, because this is an area our kids love. And we had a young lady this year who actually, a young lady who went off to Stanford who created Hello World, where she had a camp and she was teaching girls how to code, was recognized nationally for this. Other young ladies and young men are picking that up and continuing to offer those camps. In time school's out. Kids are doing this on their own. Right. They're teaching each other how to code. I just think that the future is very bright for our kids, and they're exercising tremendous leadership and interest in these areas.
The after-school part of it is something that, as we've been describing about some kind of collaboration center, it's 24/7, 365, and it's for all of the after-school stuff. And there are countless examples that we're continuing to hear about, students just doing more after school or doing more on the weekends. And so we're obviously working together, nothing yet, but ultimately to expand the capacity to allow students to go do that and learn more and be more creative and work with industry because they're so passionate about it. Right.
I think that we need to continue to work together in that area, because the one thing I know that part of talent development is getting all of these bright minds and creative minds together and having places where they can connect. And if I look across the country where there are other places that are innovation zones or are really spurring the technology industry, the Silicon Valley, even in Pittsburgh now and some other places, they have these kinds of centers you're talking about. And I just think, I want to thank you and the City Council and others who are thinking this way, because I think that's another way to get these minds together and help grow learning and the economy.
It is the changing face of economic development. I mean, it is getting more geared towards talent development.
Right.
Because like I said, talent is the key piece to attracting business and allowing your businesses to flourish.
The other thing I would add that I think is really important is that, you know, because I am the superintendent, I get to watch almost 2,100 kids graduate every year, and I know where they're going to college. And we have tremendous talent in our school district, and we have tremendous talent in the county and in Southeast Michigan. The one thing that I know that is if our students, if they stay in the state and they go to our local universities, they do well. If they go outside the state, depending where they go, once they go, depending where they are, they may not come back. And I think that we have to be really thoughtful that we have things here for them to do, and that there's something to come back to, because if they don't, we lose that talent potentially forever. And you know, we see the declining enrollment in the school district, and some of that's with birth rates, but part of that is we need to continue to attract young people. And these jobs will attract young people, and that's why I know our kids are going to stay.
There are some exciting things that the city of Sterling Heights is also doing, recognizing that, because quality of life has a really big impact on where talent ultimately goes. So you're familiar with the $50 million of park improvements that the city is doing with a new rec center, new farmers market, the new skateboard park, all of those things that younger families and younger people like to see. We are working every day with the ownership of Lakeside Shopping Center to develop means to add complementary uses to what's already existing, more mixed uses at the mall, so more chances to live there and to work there and to hang out there. So the city is playing its part on sort of the core infrastructure side of things that they can do really, really well to complement all of the things that you guys are doing to build up talent that ultimately long-term continues for this place to be where people want to come and work and live in the same token. So, because I agree, it is a hotbed for talent, certainly, and it's a great place to live. So you add all those things together, then hopefully you turn things into those innovation hubs that we talk about in Boston and Silicon Valley and that sort of thing. So everybody's pulling on the same rope from that perspective.
And I can tell you, as it relates to Stevenson MADE, Steve Faunus, who's the principal there, is super excited about it. He already has recruited his teachers. They're ready to go. And again, when you have the talent of the teachers, you have the excitement, we have the students, you have the leadership of the principal, the leadership of our Board of Education, we can get there, and we will get there, and I'm just excited for next year.
Well, I have no doubt, given your passion every time that we talk, that you are definitely going to make it happen, and certainly the community appreciates your leadership in this area wholeheartedly. There are a lot of really good things to come, and as far as we go, we really appreciate your time today, and thanks again for spending so much and giving us so much valuable insights.
You are quite welcome, and I hope that as we open in September, you come and join us and see what's going on at Stevenson.
I'll be there.
Very good.
Thank you.